Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we're out in the heat wave in the middle of October. You could say relishing it while it's here, while it's on offer. Tomorrow might be sub-zero temperatures. So we're reading Bhagavatam at our local spot now, which is near Aldenham Park, and that's Aldenham Church behind us. And so we're visiting lots of Christian sites last couple of days. So reading from the Bhagavatam. Where are we?
And we still can't escape. If you mostly you can hear the helicopters or whatever.
Oh, that's an airplane.
Is that an airplane?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look.
Literally flying right over here.
Anyway, Canto 4, Chapter 8, Text 55. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 55. One should worship the Lord by offering pure water, pure flower garlands, fruits, flowers and vegetables which are available in the forest, or by collecting newly grown grasses, small buds of flowers, or even the skins of trees, and if possible by offering tulasi trees, leaves which are very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. And is specifically mentioned herein that tulasi leaves are very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and devotees should take particular care to have tulasi leaves in every temple and center of worship. In the Western countries, while engaging in propagating the Krishna consciousness movement, we were brought great unhappiness because we could not find tulasi leaves. We are very much obliged, therefore, to our disciple Srimati Govinda Dasi, because she has taken much care to grow tulasi plants from seeds, and she has been successful by the grace of Krishna. Now tulasi plants are growing in almost every center of our movement. So nice, because Govinda Dasi is now immortalized in Prabhupada's purports, you know? So very nice.
Aren't you reading her book at the moment?
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm reading her book, her Memories of Prabhupada. Interesting. I've just started it, so I haven't got anything to share, but but when I do, I share it.
Yeah, I mean, what also stood out for me is that it's interesting how, yes, Srila Prabhupada said when he first came, there wasn't any tulsi leaves, and imagine now, we think, okay, anything you offer, everything, there should be a tulsi there, should be a tulsi. And imagine Prabhupada leaving Vrindavan, the Paramahamsa that he is, he knows you need tulsi, and there isn't any tulsi, so, it's like he just got on with it. Yeah. And then later, when he could, he got someone to start growing tulsi and explain the importance of tulsi devi. And now she's there all over the world, being grown wherever there's a temple. Prabhupada says, tulasi leaves are very important in the method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this verse, the word salilai means by the water. Of course, Dhruva Maharaj was worshipping on the bank of the Jamuna. The Jamuna and the Ganges are sacred, and sometimes devotees in India insist that the deity must be worshipped with water of the Ganges or Jamuna. But here we understand Deshakala to mean according to time and country. In the Western countries, there is no river Jamuna or Ganges. Water from such sacred rivers is not available. Does this mean that the Archa worship should, for that reason, be stopped? No. Shalilai refers to any water, whatever is available. But it must be very clear and collected purely. Okay, any water, but it must be clear and collected purely. So let's see what Prabhupada says about how it's collected. That water can be used. The other paraphernalia, such as flour, garlands, fruits, and vegetables, should be collected according to the country and according to their availability. Prabhupada being very liberal here.
Practical.
Tulasi leaves are very important for satisfying the Lord, so as far as possible an arrangement should be made for growing tulasi leaves. Dhruva Maharaj was advised to worship the Lord with the fruits and flowers available in the forest. And the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna frankly says that he accepts vegetables, fruits, flowers, etc. One should not offer Lord Vasudeva anything other than what is prescribed herein by the great authority, Narada Muni. One cannot offer to the deity according to his whims. Since these fruits and vegetables are available anywhere in the universe, we should observe this small point very attentively. So, Prabhupada is being very liberal, but then the last two sentences seem to go just the opposite. You can't offer the deity.
So good, so good.
Can't offer the deity according to one's whims. Since these fruits and vegetables are available anywhere in the universe, we should observe this small point very attentively. So he says, since these fruits and vegetables are available anywhere. I presume he means in general, since fruit and vegetables
That's
are available. I didn't get that because these usually refers to
like specific.
a specific thing that was referred to earlier. So anyway, I think this is a really incredible verse and purport.
Practical.
Yeah, where we see Prabhupada understands, this is why he is Acharya, why he is the Acharya, because he understands that you have to make some exceptions sometimes in order to get things going, and he knows the difference between what is a kind of a principle and what is an actual principle, form. There's form and then there's shadow, so there's like what's a principle and what is an actual thing that has to be done, so
alright, text 56. It is possible to worship a form of the Lord made of physical elements such as earth, water, pulp, wood and metal. In the forest, one can make a form with no more than earth and water and worship him according to the above principles. A devotee has full control over himself. A devotee who has full control over himself should be very sober and peaceful and must be satisfied simply with eating whatever fruits and vegetables are available in the forest. It is essential for a devotee to worship the form of the Lord and not only meditate upon the form of the Lord within his mind with the chanting of the mantra given by the spiritual master. The worship of the form must be present. The impersonalist takes unnecessary trouble to meditate upon or worship something impersonal, and the path is very precarious. We are not advised to follow the impersonalist way of meditating on or worshipping the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj was advised to worship the form of earth and water because in the jungle, if it is not possible to have a form made of metal, wood or stone, the best process is to take earth, mix with water and make a form of the Lord and worship him. The devotee should not be anxious about cooking food. Whatever is available in the forest or in the city among the fruit and vegetable groups should be offered to the deity, and the devotee should be satisfied eating that. You should not be anxious to have very palatable dishes. Of course, wherever it is possible, one should offer the deities the best foodstuffs, prepared within the category of fruits and vegetables, cooked or uncooked. The important factor is that the devotee should be regulated Nitai book, and that is one of the good qualifications of a devotee. He should not hanker to satisfy the tongue with a particular kind of foodstuff. He should be satisfied to eat whatever prasad is available by the grace of the Lord. So there you go.
About that.
I remember when I was like a newbie, I'm still a newbie, but long before, and I was quite bewildered because there was someone who made like as a pujari, and I wasn't initiate. I wasn't even first initiate, no, second. But they made a wonderful pizza. Everyone likes pizza. And then it was offered on the altar to the deities. I don't know if we do that anymore.
Well, it depends on where it's made, but most pizzas.
It was offered in the pujari department, made in the pujari department. Anyway, it was offered on the altar, but I wasn't initiated, I was very new, but obviously I was like, oh, wow, that looks nice. And the devotee that offered it, took it and then packed it up and took it home. And I was really bewildered and baffled. I don't understand. It's really interesting though, you know. I know that's what came to mind when I read that.
Sounds like Sitapati Prabhu.
Well, I didn't want to name the names.
Sorry, you've been busted, mate.
But it was funny because then when I was learning, like I said, newbies at home, I was learning. And our parents are very religious, but we didn't offer our food. But it wasn't a big deal, to be fair.
Did?
We didn't. But when I started offering, but sometimes if it was weekends, I'm not at school or at uni or whatever, then I would make lunch and offer it, and it would normally 9 times out of 10 be pasta because I can live on pasta. So then my dad made a comment, seems like your Krishna really likes pasta, doesn't he? Or is it you that likes it? I didn't know Krishna ate pasta so much, so I felt really bad by that. But sorry everybody, there is a man eating bug in my book.
Man eating. Okay, text 57.
Sorry everybody.
My dear Dhruva, besides worshipping the deity and chanting the mantra 3 times a day, you should meditate upon the transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His different incarnations, as exhibited by His supreme will and personal potencies. Purport. Devotional service comprises 9 prescribed practices: hearing, chanting, remembering, worshipping, serving, offering everything to the deity, etc. Here Dhruva Maharaj is advised not only to meditate on the form of the Lord, but to think of His transcendental pastimes in His different incarnations. Mayavadi philosophers take the incarnation of the Lord to be the same category as the ordinary living entity. That's what we were just talking about. This is a great mistake. The incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not forced to act by material laws of nature. The word swecha is used here to indicate that He appears out of His supreme will. The conditioned soul is forced to accept a particular type of body according to his karma, given by the laws of material nature under the direction of the Supreme Lord. But when the Lord appears, He is not forced by the dictation of material nature. He appears as He likes, by His own internal potency. That is the difference. The conditioned soul accepts a particular type of body, such as the body of a hog, by his work and by a superior authority of material nature. But when Lord Krishna appears in the incarnation of a boar, it is not the same kind of hog as an ordinary animal. Krishna appears as Varaha avatar in an expansive feature which cannot be compared to any ordinary hogs. His appearance and disappearance are inconceivable to us. In the Bhagavad Gita it is clearly said that He appears by His own internal potency for the protection of the devotees and the annihilation of the non-devotees. A devotee should always consider that Krishna does not appear as an ordinary man, ordinary human. Krishna does not appear as an ordinary human being or ordinary beast. His appearance as Varaha Murti, or a horse or tortoise, is an exhibition of His internal potency. In the Brahma Samhita it is said, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabi. One should not mistake the appearance of the Lord as a human being or a beast to be the same as the birth of an ordinary conditioned soul who is forced to appear by the laws of nature. Whether as an animal, as a human being, or as a demigod, this kind of thinking is offensive. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has condemned the Mayavadis as offensive to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because of their thinking that the Lord and the conditioned living entities are one and the same. Interesting. Yeah, so this is, the Mayavadis, they see things a little bit differently. And so it's easy for them to make an accusation in a certain way because, Krishna comes as what appears to be a human, or he comes as what appears to be a hog. So then you could easily make the assumption that it's still a hog, it's still a tortoise, it's still a fish. A fish is a fish, a hog is a hog, a dog is a dog. Which means God becomes that animal and then lives in a conditioned existence in that animal. I mean, maybe they say to perform certain Herculean tasks, but Prabhupada's point is that no, Krishna comes in every generation and he gives us exactly what we need and looks after us. So we have to trust and develop and grow our faith in Krishna like that.
Right, final paragraph. Narada advises Dhruva to meditate on the pastimes of the Lord, which is as good as the meditation of concentrating one's mind on the form of the Lord. As meditation on any form of the Lord is valuable, so is chanting of different names of the Lord, such as Hari, Govinda, and Narayan. Then they say we are especially advised to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, as enunciated in the Sastras. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, you don't need to go to the forest and eat stuff you find there, You can just stay in your comfortable homes and eat some fruits and vegetables that are mixed with, say, cream and cheese and green chilies and tomato ketchup, the devotee-friendly one, things like that,
Okay, text 58. Translation: One should follow in the footsteps of previous devotees regarding how to worship the Supreme Lord with the prescribed paraphernalia. One should offer worship within the heart by reciting the mantras to the personality of Godhead, who is non-different from the mantra. Purport: It is recommended here that if one cannot arrange to worship the forms of the Lord with all recommended paraphernalia, one can simply think about the form of the Lord and mentally offer everything recommended in the Shastras, including flowers, chandan pulp, conch shell, umbrella, fan, and chamara. One can meditate upon offering and chanting the 12-syllable mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Since the mantra and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are non-different, one can worship the form of the Lord with the mantra in mana. Yes. One can worship the form of the Lord with mantra in the absence of physical paraphernalia. The story of the Brahmana who worshipped the Lord within his mind, as related in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu or the Nectar of Devotion, should be consulted in this connection. If paraphernalia is not present physically, one can think of the items and offer them to the deity by chanting the mantra. Such are the liberal, potent facilities in the process of devotional service. Well, last paragraph's quite significant in my opinion. Because Prabhupada, it's interesting because he's saying it's intricate, it could be like this, should be like this, that there is an elaborate process for deity worship, but then there at the end, he says that the paraphernalia is not present physically. One can think of the items and offer them to the deity by chanting the mantra. And then he says, Such are the liberal and potent facilities in the process of devotional service. Yes, so Srila Prabhupada is saying, yeah, that's not the best, but kala desha patra, time, place, and circumstance, do what you can do. And he says, so it is liberal, even though we might understand it as being the least liberal thing on the planet.
Yeah. Well, Prabhupada was very liberal despite his appearance, that people might think he's an old Indian sannyasi,
Yeah.
But his thinking was extremely liberal. Unfortunately, he was held back by certain cultural constraints, like in India or his God family and that. But I reckon he would have been even more revolutionary if he didn't have to stay within a certain box.
I agree.
Alright, thank you. I just got distracted by a cat.
Bugs, cats, crows. Okay, thank you all very, very much. Please keep tuning in, and please ensure that you get inspired. Read the Bhagavatam yourself in your spare time.
Alright.
And shout out to Mother Nabaswati if you happen to watch again all the way through. Just the other day, she was saying that she happened across our Bhagavatam Bites. She said, you guys were just sitting at a table drinking cups of tea or something. And she said she really liked it. So we're really grateful. We like to keep them short and sweet and have some gentle conversation. She said she liked it because it wasn't like really heavy preaching. It was just us discussing. And she said they were really good points. So I'd like to shout out to you, Mother Nabaswati. Thank you very much for your...
And she's Prabhupada
disciple and decades of service to Radha Gokulananda and still going strong. So all glories to you, dear Mother Nabaswati. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
jai. Nitai Go Premanandi.
Hare
Hare Bol.